Hello everyone, welcome back to Train Simulator 2020. I'm back here at on Donner Pass, but with a few changes, or a full-on redo if you want to put it that way. So first of all, a lot of people have been asking me to show some videos again of my progress on Donner Pass, and just the amount of people out there that are interested in the series and want to see this route completed as soon as possible is mind-blowing. And so I appreciate you guys who have been following along, and for those in the Train Simulator community who just want to see some route building, because I know that doesn't exist a lot in the community. So I appreciate that. However, there's a lot of caveats to things that have been happening really in the past few months. So you're probably looking at your screen, and you're looking, you're following me around, and you've probably noticed that things look a little different. Why do they not look the same as the previous videos? Well, the first thing and the biggest thing is that I completely started over. And yes, before you ask, it took a lot of time. It was frustrating, to say the least. I didn't want to do it, but here are my reasons. The first reason being what I discussed in the last video, and that is that, for a lot of people to use this route, I would have had to swap out all the Stevens Pass assets for the Montana Highline assets. And the reason being is because when the Stevens Pass route was published at the time, there wasn't really this dispute between Burlington Northern Santa Fe, or BNSF, to publish to use their logos outside of North America or the U.S. Basically, like I mentioned, because of that and because of changes over the past few years, BNSF didn't allow their logos again to be sold outside the U.S. Unless there was a route that got rid of the logos. So pretty much all of the BNSF routes that came after Stevens Pass has that ability. So that includes the Chicago route, the newest Montana Highline route, etc. So with that, the original plan was, like I said, like I discussed in the last video, that I was just going to replace all the Stevens Pass assets with the Highline assets, because a lot of the Montana Highline assets are pretty similar to Stevens Pass. The biggest one being the tracks. However, that was very time consuming, and I don't have that much experience with RW Tools. If you don't know what RW Tools is, that's another application that you can download and use, where you can get into the game files and edit things, etc. Add mods, do changes to paint schemes and things like that on locos. But just to put it simply, I don't have enough experience with that, and so I had attempted to go through and try to. I did change the tracks to Montana, but there were a lot of other things such as road assets and scenery, trees, buildings, and at that point it was just becoming more work than it needed to be. So I quickly stopped myself. Instead of trying to ask the community for help on RW Tools or to make those changes, make those replacements, I decided to start completely from scratch again. I will say, however, I'm very happy of the progress I've made so far. So obviously this is just east of Reno, which is over there in the background, also west of Sparks Yard, which is over there. And you can see I've tried and attempted to complete everything up to what was completed in the last video. So actually, one of the first things I did was I completed Sparks Yard in general, using, again, the Montana track assets instead of Stevens Pass. And I'll get to assets here in a little bit, because I do have to bring that up again. So I started with all of that, had to relay this highway, which I'm still pretty impressed. Again, it's kind of tough to do roads. So I feel like I replicated it pretty well compared to the first attempt I had. And then I worked in this area. This is like, I believe Google Maps calls it, it's like Reno's transportation center or something like that. So you have a lot of equipment. So you got these cranes and these dumpers, whatever you want to call them, these trucks, and then you just have more scenery things with that in the area. You can see there's more stuff over here. You got a salt dome there. Again, it's just some miscellaneous things. I'm pretty impressed though with this over here. This is probably further than what I had originally, but you can see there's a lot of detail in this area. I'll go ahead and try to. I won't move the camera too much. I'll just kind of sit and then sit here and talk for a bit so you guys can see the scenery. But one thing that I found very helpful in doing detailing work is fences. The splines of sidewalks is also a very good asset for just kind of marking out the perimeter of a property there. You can see I got a lot of trees, more curbing, some cars. Again, when you get further away from the tracks, you don't need as much detail. So you can see I kind of stopped with the sidewalks the further back we got, and everything gets kind of repetitive with car assets and things like that, or the less detailed car assets are being used throughout here. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how most of this turned out. Now, it's not completed, it's not finished. I think the biggest things I'm going to have to do and come back to are telephone poles and light poles and traffic lights and things like that. But overall, where I have things right now, it's actually really good. I'm really impressed with everything along the tracks over here. I've been creative and added some things. There's a little gas station here, and a lot of these are close to what the real life places have. There is a gas station here, and this is actually supposed to be a convenience store, but there's this little sushi bar asset, which again I'll talk about assets here in a bit. That looked really good, so I decided to put that there. You have the gas station over there as well. Again, you got some more details here. I'm pretty happy with this. It just looks like just kind of behind the sushi bar. There's nothing much being done in this area, so you just have some grass, some dumpsters, some machinery there. And then you have your gas station here, again, a sidewalk, and this is probably my favorite part so far. This is supposed to be like a roofing supply place, but I have a bunch of lumber sitting here as well. I got some cars, and that does extend underneath the highway. I think this is Interstate 580, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Check Google Maps for that. But you can see I continue that there, and then I love these cool fence splines as well. So that's probably one of my favorite created areas as well. And then you can see here's just some more detail of the area from behind. Again, it lacks a lot of things like sidewalks and cars up here, but again, from the tracks, you're not going to see any of this. So I just tried to keep it simple, even though I wanted to detail. Like I said, just threw some things down and kept it open. If you look on Google Maps, especially this little facility here, I think it's like there's 2 trucking facilities here, and there are just tons of these trailers and trucks sitting here. But I just kind of simplified it, and I tried to think outside the box. I tried to not use the Google Map overlay and not use Google Maps to really curve how I was building things. I tried my best to just be unique. Like even with this right here, if you look at this area in Google Maps, like I said, it's a gas station and like a convenience store. But the most I did is I just kind of, placed these buildings here, turned off the Google Map overlay, and just went, and got creative here. And so, I think that's a very good tip if you're ever struggling with route building, is that you can get a lot of things, close. I think the one thing I was really particular with are these fences right here. You can see these fences kind of, jot out a bit, and same over here as well. You got like different series of fences there. And you can do that with buildings too. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes time to trees, sidewalks, cars, trucks, anything like that. You just got to be creative, and you got to, again, not let the Google Map overlay really guide you to placing props down. So anyways, just kind of rambling on here. But yeah, this is what I've done in this area. I personally love this area so far. I think the other day I had just stopped what I was doing, and I think for a good 15 minutes I was just kind of looking at my work here because I was just really impressed by it. There are some concerns, such as, are these too many props? Are people with lower end computers going to be able to run a train through here and at least maintain a good FPS? I don't know. It depends on what other people say once this route is released. I have been working on the detail levels of each individual prop and buildings, and I've done a good job of keeping most of the buildings, or even if you had to add the lowest detail level, most of the buildings are still here. So if you need to lower your detail settings like halfway, you can at least get rid of some props, as you could see them go away there. But I still have most of these props set to where it's best played at the highest graphic level, or even if you have it down to halfway, there's still a lot of props being shown up. So hopefully people don't run into an issue of that this is too much for your computer to handle. But I'm just going to keep building, no matter if it's going to be a performance issue or not for people. So that's that area. This is also another area that I'm really happy about. Now, it's not completed because there are more buildings here that I want to complete. I want to do some scenery things around these two, and then that probably wraps up this area, this little corner here. But this is like a veterans center. I don't know if it's like a veterans retirement center or something like that, or like nursing home of some sort. But this was also another area that I got just very creative with. I did put these buildings exactly to where they are on the map, but I got, again, just creative with the roads around it, the parking lots, and you can just see the detail that we have here. We have a bunch of benches. We have this little water. It's not really, I guess it is a water fountain. That's what the asset prop says. But you have those. You have some city buses and things like that around here. So I was pretty happy with that because, like I said, I had to really think outside the box here, especially since if you go to Google Maps in this area, it's not completed. If you go to Street View, this area is completed, but the satellite imagery of this is not completed, which I find odd because I think the satellite imagery says 2020 as a last scanned picture, but obviously not, because it still shows that area under construction. So we have that, and then this is what I've been working on a little bit today, and I might just kind of wrap up shortly. There are a lot of big changes here. I think I had like apartments that looked kind of like these in the background over here, and they were located right here, but there is an actual casino here. They call it like the Rail Giants Casino. I don't, or something Rail Casino. And so I decided to take some buildings, get the casino and arcade signs, and make a little casino out of this area. So I'm pretty happy with that. I just got to work on the parking lot here, add some cars. Most of all of this over here kind of stayed the same. I, again, tried to replicate it from the previous version. Had a used car lot here, gas station, little taco stand, and things like that. And then you have your mobile home park over there. You have a little hotel sitting over here as well. And then you just have more apartments here and then more buildings. When I get further out this way, it's just going to be copy and paste of a bunch of houses, which will be the houses like these right here. They'll just be copy and pasted of those. These are Chicago assets, and you can also find them in the Highline asset packs as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on. I will fly into Reno here just to show you guys. And like I said, I've had to use different road assets. These are Chicago road assets. I'm not a fan of them because if your quality settings on Train Simulator, like your graphics settings are turned down, these road splines don't look that great, but I'm just kind of stuck with using them. But you can see I did redo the trenching once again through here. I had to do the bridge, of course, over the tracks, and then like I said, I just finished all the trenching like it was in the previous version as well. So overall, I'm happy to get it to the point that it's at right now. Especially since it took me several months in the last attempt. So to be able to do this within a matter of weeks was pretty impressive. Partially that's because of all the things going on in the world with the COVID-19 virus, and just I had spring break as well 2 weeks ago, and then we were given like an extra spring break-ish just for teachers to move their content online to online sources. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Again, it's, if I'm going to be as detailed as I am in this area right here, this is going to take a long time. But I'm hoping that now that, we're all just kind of home and, I can work on my own pace with schoolwork and I don't have to go anywhere, that hopefully I can find some good motivation to just crank this out and get it done. I'm hoping to start this next area shortly, and I think when I work on this area I will start recording it. There's a little like junkyard over here, or scrapyard I should say, so that's something I'm very interested in recording and showing you guys. So that will probably be its own video, and hopefully I'll just get some scenery things done outside of it. So yeah, I feel bad I didn't do a speed build video of this, because I'm sure you guys would like to have seen what I did, but again, I just wanted to crank it out. Sometimes when I turn on OBS to start recording, I feel slowed down by it, because I feel like I have to complete things in a certain time frame. So don't feel bad if I don't do so many speed build videos, or if I make progress but I don't show you that progress. It's just because it's easier for me to just crank it out on my own time without feeling the need to set things up to record and things like that. So yeah, the final thing. So obviously the biggest talking point before this episode was assets. So obviously for those of you who are concerned about not being able to use this modernized version of Donner Pass because I used Stevens Pass, and you live outside the US and North America, you can be happy again now. Like I said, I completely got rid of Stevens Pass, or when I redid this, I didn't even click on Stevens Pass. So let's look at the assets really quickly, just so you guys are aware of what I'm using. So actually, I think I just have to kind of click through. So yeah, I'm using BNSF Chicago. I was also eerie on using it because I didn't know if this route had two versions of it, one with the BNSF logos and one without, but I was told that Chicago does have that ability. So I am using Chicago, and that's most of the assets you see are from the Chicago route. They just work. And there's something about the Chicago route. Well, it's a very laggy route and performance heavy route. A lot of the assets that it uses are extremely good. So you have those. When we go to, let's see, that's a loco pack. Okay, nothing from Dovetail Games, surprisingly, or at least what's listed here. Nothing from G-Checks. Stevens Pass is not checked off, so you don't have to worry again about Stevens Pass and getting any of those. I do have Rail Simulator US. I think that's just the US asset pack. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what, but I have that clicked off. Most people have that. This is what I had discussed in a previous video. This is the Railworks America Community Asset Project. RCAP is what it is for short, or the RCAP. So yeah, the fences that you saw, so this fence right here, this spline is from that asset pack. And you're gonna see actually this used car dealership is also from that. And let's see, this billboard is also from that. So you can see there's a lot of things in that. Actually, this crossing gate is as well. So there's something about the Railworks America crossing gates that are really good. So I'm using them because they're pretty realistic. They have a really cool light pattern and things like that, etc. So anyways, oh yeah, and even they have a bunch of the high rail pickup trucks with all the different liveries too. So anywho, so I am using that asset pack. Of course, when I get closer to completion of this, I'll be sure to make a video discussing it and just how to install it. It's very easy, and it's free. It's free to take off of the Railworks America download station, I guess if you want to call it. So there is that. Donner Pass, obviously, is a selected one, and Pacific Surfliner. So I was hesitant to clicking Pacific Surfliner, only because a lot of the props out there, it just doesn't fit for this kind of route. This route's a little bit more northern, if you want to put it that way, or it's more mountainous than the California area that Pacific Surfliner is in, where from LA to San Diego. But there are, again, some good props out of that as well. They're not going to be used as much, but again, you're going to need Pacific Surfliner as well. Again, I hope there's not an issue for Pacific Surfliner, because same thing. It's a Burlington Northern Santa Fe route, but by the sounds of it, that route was maybe updated, or it was originally released, where there are several versions of that. Someone's gonna have to check with me on that. If that's not the case, then I could probably easily delete all the props from Pacific Surfliner, because I kind of have a mental note on what props are Pacific Surfliner or what aren't, because I used very little. Like, for instance, the baseball field out there is a Pacific Surfliner prop. So someone's gonna have to let me know in the comments whether or not people outside the US and North America can use Pacific Surfliner. So get back to me on that. Let's see, Sherman Hill I just used for. Sherman Hill is actually going to be a route that isn't for props, but it is for locomotives, because this is now a Union Pacific route. And I feel like the best Union Pacific locomotives that you have, like the ES44AC type Union Pacific locos, are from Sherman Hill. Yeah, that's where I'm going to make most of these scenarios, or most people are going to create scenarios using that. Obviously, the Highline one is the newest route. It is a great route. Again, there's some of the props I'm not too happy with. I'm not happy with the roads. I thought they were going to have the same road splines as Stevens Pass, but they wound up not. But anyways, it still has some good props, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I actually talked way longer than I thought. I was hoping I'd maybe do some building stuff here, because I just want to complete this area, but that's gonna have to, that's gonna have to do for this episode. And again, it's just kind of a quick update video for those who were looking for a video. I know there's a few people that were asking for a little update on where I'm at. And so you obviously see and have heard why it has been a while, because I've just been redoing things. So yeah, thank you guys again for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Train Simulator content. And I will try my best. Hopefully within the next week or two, I'll get a speed build video out for you guys, so you guys have something to watch. Again, hopefully you guys are staying safe and healthy through the virus that's going around in the world. There's a lot of unknowns when things are gonna go back to normal, but the most I can do is pray and wish you guys a healthy next few months. And if you are affected by it, I hope you do fight back and get through it as well. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Train Simulator video.